Sunday Rivals will turn 3 years old a little later this month. As a project is closer to 5 years old, prototype and early access all happened in 2020. Remember 2020? Yeah. But man, it's crazy to think about how far the game has come along. Prototype to early access in only 9 months was a gamble. When I launched was super bare bones, truly early access, but over time I managed to get it into shape, and as I walked away from it and started working on new things, I look back and I'm content with the game, and hopefully it's brought you some amount of enjoyment over the years. You know, we've grown accustomed to never-ending sequels and franchises. In the past, technology grew exponentially, and each generation facilitated incredible growth. So a sequel to a previous gen game represented this huge leap in capability. Things just exploded and continued to improve. But eventually, that tech growth slowed and finally plateaued. So we've been riding along this flat line for a while now, experiencing a consistently narrowing field of view year after year after year. There's no real vision anymore and very few options, which forces us to engage in this tedious exercise of trying to continuously optimize what little we're given, which sucks, and also has completely sucked all the originality and fun out of sports games and reduced them into glossy, soulless simulacrum. And let's be clear, no one person or company is responsible for this. This is how all things feel now. Synthetic, over-designed, and optimized to boredom. We players share the blame here because we tend to work against ourselves. We don't embrace innovation. We can't extrapolate the potential genius in things that aren't fully cooked yet. We reject games that dare to try something different, and we'll play the latest release of some glossy game year after year because it's got the teams and the players we want and it's frictionless. We already understand the controls, we know the formula to winning, and even though we're not really having any fun with it, we crave the familiarity and comfort it provides. And because we just stopped saying, "Nah, I've seen this already. Show me something new." We're not asking the hard questions. It's easier to hyper-focus on the details. We fixate on all these impossibly small things that orbit around a dying sun rather than demand games surprise us with new ideas and untested formulas. That used to happen. Sports games used to try all kinds of stuff. Some worked, some never stuck, and some were correct, but they got the timing wrong. But people tried things, which is why there's all these old awesome games. And if we fall in the trap of thinking back on how thrilling that ride was and try to recapture that excitement and anticipation with the few games we have available to us now, it all feels impossibly out of reach. And that's because that crazy 4x4 that drove us up that exciting mountain trail all the way up to the top, that thing's on cruise control now. And we sit in the back, seatbelt tight, looking out the window, and realizing there's no vista of God's creation up here. It's just a flat, safe ride across an arid plateau, with occasional stops for more gas and bad snacks. That's kind of bleak, and it's not my goal to make you depressed or hopeless. I just think about that reality a lot when it comes to my own games. We need to completely rethink our orientation on what sports games can be. Sunday Rivals gave people a way off that plateau. The path was a little rough, but fun, and gave you some clean air and blue skies to enjoy. A change of pace. Hopefully a reminder of how things used to feel. I don't know, but when I talk to folks now who bought the game, I hear, it's a lot of fun, but I wish it had this or that, which is fair. And I say, maybe in a sequel, maybe Sunday Rivals 2, and people's eyes light up. And then out comes their optimization checklist. Sunday Rivals just needs X, Y, and Z, and I'd be happy. And maybe that's true, but how long can that last? And I get that people like burgers, and some really enjoy the Sunday Rivals burger. So if I ask, what else should I add to the menu here? They say, you gotta add cheese, or bacon would be peak, or whatever kids say now, which entirely misses my question, but they're telling me exactly what they want. Make the burger even better, optimize it. And I can do that. I can add cheese next year, promise bacon the year after that, then the big fried egg update, upsell you on brioche buns, only $2 more. And then I flip this switch and I push that button, and look at this. Sunday Rivals has cruise control too. Maybe that's spiraling, but the question remains, do I just keep trying to make you a better burger? Or Do I say, the burger's pretty good right now, what about hot dogs? Because let's be honest, hot dogs used to be great, but they kind of suck these days. Oh, sure, now they pack all kinds of things on them to make them seem new and exciting. Oh, let's put freaking cream cheese on a hot dog. The kind of brain-dead thing a woefully ill-informed person might suggest. And then you buy it, because that's all they got. And yeah, it sucks, because it's undercooked, the bun's stale, and boy, cream cheese has no business on a dog, y'all. So I'll try to wrap up this exhausting and probably confusing food metaphor by saying we can continue to try out different condiments on a good burger, or maybe we need to just get in the kitchen and try out some new recipes. And I've said this before, if there are good games in a space already, it's way less interesting to me to put yet another game on a crowded shelf. Figuring out how to make a really good hot dog, though, that makes for a better menu. But at the same time, y'all, I know I could make a really kick-ass burger now. When I launched Sunday Rivals, I was still fumbling around the grill. I made a good bite, but it wasn't a full meal. And okay, now I know exactly how to get the cheese just right. Sorry. Even though it's not the right time, I do think a lot about a sequel. Sunday Rivals is a good game, but it definitely left things on the table. And that means different things to different people, though. So let's talk about the givens, right? The things you and I both know Sunday Rivals is lacking. Let's define the traditional sequel. Okay. Improved customization is a given. Rebuild the player models without any of the limitations Sunday Rivals has now. You'll actually see this in action with volleyball soon. It's pretty cool what's going on there. But yeah, new models, maybe 3 or 4 new stadiums, get that dome y'all asked for. Things looking good. Cool. What about the teams? Okay, more granular ratings so you can make more diverse player archetypes. Then I start mixing in new playbooks, new plays, start layering on strategy options, way deeper rosters, get that long snapper, QB3, add more sliders to really tune the game to fit your play style. Speaking of, I'll dig into the AI, make some changes, fix some of the lingering issues and exploits, and then of course the big one, full franchise mode, right? Draft, free agents, trades, injuries, contracts, set hot dog prices, the whole nine. Great, slap a 2 on that box, sell it for $25, bam! That's a legit sequel. Everyone's happy, right? But I don't know that I'd be happy making that game. And don't get me wrong, all that sounds really good. I'd want to play that Sunday Rivals right now too. But it's missing something big. Not big, something compelling and innovative and unexpected. Yeah, I think somewhere in there. Sunday Rivals was unexpected. You didn't know who I was. No one played Mini Hockey Champ. And then you randomly saw this game one day and you got a jolt of that excitement of discovery I mentioned before. New soft drink video. What even is this game? Is this friggin' Roblox? Oh man, you can totally hit guys after the whistle. Oh, this reminds me of Blitz. Why does the ball get so big? That's weird. But whoa, that snow looks awesome. Creating that feeling of energy and anticipation of just a risky, promising unknown, and then paying it off with a game that feels weird and janky and hilarious, and random, but cool. I'm desperate to capture all of that again, for both you and for me. And so a sequel to me can't just be a list of small features tacked onto the existing game that subjectively make it better than before. And franchise mode is by no means a small feature, and yes, it objectively improves the game, but you've played franchise mode before in a bunch of games, and yeah, a Sunday Rivals one would be cool and add depth to the game, I agree. But what is the Sunday Rivals of franchise modes? Something that feels fresh, inspired, and innovates in ways you didn't even know you wanted. Same with the gameplay. What makes you say, holy crap, did you see that? What is going on with this game? It's insane. That's not better animations or I can press X now to do a thing a million other football games already do. Fundamentally, what makes Sunday Rivals something everyone who sees it feels compelled to play? That's the sequel I want to make. But I can't, because I don't know what that is yet. So when it's time and I'm ready, I will figure out what makes Sunday Rivals 2 truly special. I will prioritize that, and everything else will fall in line from there. But that is not today because I am making a volleyball game. And I will admit this is all based on me continuing to do things as a hobby. If I ever make 26K my full-time job, my priorities and risk tolerance might change, but for right now, I want to be thinking about a potential sequel, not as a top 10 collection of ideas from other games, but instead something inherently unique. Born from the vast, unexplored frontier all those other games are just ignoring. There are mountains to climb and hot dogs to discover. We just need to be brave enough to get up there and eat them. Talk to you soon.